This is the first time in algebra that you are going to be using a formula to solve a problem. This is D equals RT, distance equals rate times time. Notice how we don't have a multiplication symbol between the R and the T because we don't need one. When you have variables written just like that, it indicates multiplication. Okay, and rate can also be speed. Think about when you're in a car and the speed limit, we call it the speed limit, we don't call it the rate limit. The speed limit on the highway is 70 miles per hour. So the car will go 70 miles per hour, that's the speed. All right, we're going to just jump into these three problems. We're going to solve them. Austin travels 58 miles per hour for 6 hours. How far did he travel? Underline the important information. 58 miles per hour. That would be our rate. That's the R in our equation above. 6 hours. That is our time in the equation above. How far? That is the distance, and we don't know the distance, so we are going to find the distance. So here's your formula. D equals RT. Now I'm going to substitute what I know. I don't know D, but I do know R, which is 58, and I do know T, which is 6. I put them in parentheses because whenever I substitute a number for a variable, I put it in parentheses so I remember it's a substitution. And I put the parentheses by each other because they're being multiplied. You can write it like this. D equals 58.6. Just do not use, and I'm going to write it, don't do this. Don't do 58 times 6 because it looks like, now that you're in algebra, 58x6. So don't do it that way. Now, let's do the math. D equals 348 miles. Same way, 348 miles. I want you to make sure you write a complete answer, not just 348, but 348 miles, 27 meters per second, 35 minutes. Use the correct unit because we say, and we do, and we are adamant about it, use correct units in your answer, right? Let's do another one. Idle traveled 138 miles in 3 hours. What was her speed? So she traveled 138 miles. That is the distance. 3 hours, that is the time. Speed, that is the R. Now you're going to, again, write the formula. D equals RT. Let's substitute what we know. We know our D, 138, equals, do we know our speed? No, but we know our time, 3. Now, you may wonder, why didn't I do R3? Remember, I've mentioned proper math grammar to you. You always put the integer before the variable. And if you think way back to elementary school, middle school, it doesn't matter in which order I multiply those mathematically. 3 times R is the same as R times 3. So I'm going to write it as 3R. It's still going to be okay. I've got to solve for R. This is now a one-step equation. I need the R by itself, so I have to undo the multiplication, which means I have to divide. So 46 equals R. Her speed is 46 miles per hour. I'm going to square my answers. There we go. All right, so how do you feel about that? We are taking this formula, We're taking what you just learned about one-step equations over the past couple of days. Now we are applying them. You are now doing real-world math. Let's do one more. Alex traveled 288 miles at a rate of 72 miles per hour. How long did he travel? 288 miles, that would be our distance. The rate is 72 miles per hour. That is our rate. It even says rate. How long is time? So you need to make sure you understand what the words are. We didn't say how many minutes did we travel. We just said, how long did he travel? That is a time. That is time. So let's do it again. Write the formula. D equals RT, and we're going to substitute what we know. The distance is 288, the rate is 72, and the time is T. Now you're going to solve that one-step equation. We are multiplying 72 times T. We need to get the T alone. We need to isolate it. So you undo the multiplication by dividing. We have 4 equals T. He traveled 4 hours. This isn't too bad. You're going to have classwork, and you are going to have a sheet of problems, actually 2 sheets, practicing these D equals RT problems, and I will also give you the answers.